Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Three Dorks on Demand. And we do have three dorks tonight. A couple of our dorks might look a little different than what you're used to. Ray and Bronner have a other commitment this evening, so joining me tonight is, if you watched us when we were on CCTV, you'll recognize him. He was our producer, and he joined us for a few shows. He's an excellent person, a fantastic producer, and just great to have around for content. Sean Ewing. Sean, why don't you go ahead and just introduce yourself? And
Oh God, yeah. So anybody that's seen this before probably seen me. As Nick said, produced CCTV for a while. Started in CCTV, ended up doing that a bunch. So I am representing. I'm from Team AOA. So we are. It's Arugs and Bear and Jay. And so they asked me to be on this episode, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. I haven't been able to podcast with you guys in a while now. Yeah. So I was definitely excited to join and talk about our very interesting topic today.
Yes. Which we will get to that. Also joining me, another dork, a dork that I know very well, that I made a lifelong commitment with, my lovely wife, Jacqueline Zangle-Barone. And also, I guess for the first time ever, I guess we have a fourth dork, or maybe she'll be a dork. Who knows?
She's not determined yet. She has to decide her own interests.
A lot of potential. But in Jacqueline's arms is our daughter, Olivia.
Yeah, say hi, Olivia. Yep, she's 2 months and 2 days old, so she has opinions, but not about pop culture and.
She has opinions about Baby Beluga.
She does.
Book, and the opinion is she really loves it a lot.
She really does like Baby Beluga.
It's catchy and stuck in my head, and like I'll just be driving and I find myself like humming it to me. Yeah. Just crazy. But anyway, but we're not here to talk about Baby Beluga tonight. Tonight we are here to talk about video games, or more accurately, live action adaptations of video games. So movies, TV shows. And now this topic is an interesting one, because if we were to have this show, say, 10 years ago, this would be a very different show. This would be a show where all we had to talk about was terrible misfires, big budget mistakes. But fortunately, the world of video gaming in movies and TV has improved. There are actually some good ones now. So we're going to get into, I know, there's still a little few and far between, but we're going to get into the good, the bad, the ugly, talk about the nitty-gritty of the various adaptations that have been made, and also kind of talk a little bit about like what makes a good live-action adaptation, and what live-action adaptations would we like to see made that haven't been made already of video games that are out there. So to start us off, let's start positive, right? We'll start positive.
This will be a short section. I was making my list, checking it twice, of course, and I'm sitting here going, how much of these are really good and how much of these are just like gradations of bad? It's really hard to pick, the good versus the bad, because they're tough. There are definitely some real bad ones. Other ones are not as bad. So, all right. So good, the goodest. Let's go with the goodest.
Sure.
So, Resident Evil. I think Resident Evil is probably one of the best adaptations that they've done. They've done a bunch of them. They even did the TV series, which I like the TV series. I know a lot of people kind of gave it crap and didn't like it. Of course, I think that's what most people say anyway, though. So for me, Resident Evil is probably one of the better ones. I like the world of Resident Evil and the variation, not really zombies, but more. And they've done so, and I think part of what makes it good is that they've done so much with it. Because I think that's what often makes something bad, is they try to cram stuff too much, or they just completely ignore it. And it's like, this is barely an adaptation. So I really like the Resident Evil series.
Yeah, I had to, when I put my my list together and I was ranking them, Resident Evil was a tough one for me to peg because there are definitely some good ones in there, but then there's some not as great ones, right? So I was kind of like, if I had to take the whole franchise, I'd put it probably somewhere in the middle. But you're right, there have been some that were like, really fire. It is also fun as a longtime fan of that franchise. Like I played the video games through, I think 4, maybe 5. I think 5 was the last one I played. And getting to see those characters from the video game show up in live action was cool.
Yeah. Now they've, I know this. It's not live action, but they've also done some animated ones that. Oh my God! It's a Bronner.
He's here.
Our producer's gonna have to scramble to get Bronner in here. Bronner is showing up in the room. It's probably not. Yeah.
It's all good. You're more welcome to join. Yeah. We have a Bronner. Yeah, is he in?
I hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, but can the audience hear you?
Yeah, that's the question.
That's a good question. So while Nick's our producer is getting that taken care of, they did make some animated ones which are not live action. I get that, but the graphically they're really good. Like they're not cartoony. It's that Final Fantasy where it's like really close. You can almost mistake it for live action, and I think those have been really good as well. So
I know which ones you're talking about. I saw those way back.
They did one a couple years ago.
They were
a new one a couple years ago.
They were good. What's crazy is they were good adaptations, and yet somehow they like blanked from my mind. I totally forgot that they existed.
So
hi.
Hey,
Connor's here. Hey.
I'm sorry, I was in La La Land. I was dreaming of what video they're going to make into a movie next.
Oh, okay.
Borderlands 2.
Oh God.
And there's a baby.
Yeah.
Baby's first stream.
You wouldn't go to sleep.
Baby's first stream. Oh, we definitely need to get an ornament. Baby's first stream. So what have we talked about? Can you give me a quick rundown?
Good. We're just bringing up adaptations that we think were done well.
All right, let's get Bronner caught up. Resident Evil. Okay, you're caught up now.
That's all you talked about?
That's all we talked about. Yeah. We just got started.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So that was the first one. That was mine. That was one of my picks. So Nick or Bronner or Jacqueline, you guys want to throw your goodest out there?
Sure. I mean, I gotta go with, if I'm gonna say like the best of the best, The Last of Us was so good. It's so good. Like
that's got to be on everybody's list.
And it's one of those
mine, number one.
Like it made sense if you think about it. If you played the video game, it was already pretty cinematic. The storytelling in it was so great. And it was one of those fantastic adaptations where it followed the source material very closely, but anytime it made a deviation, it made total sense. Like the things that they changed were things that probably just should have been changed in the original adaptation to begin with. But the changes were minimal. They didn't change anything that really like completely overhauled the plot line. And that casting, I mean, Pedro Pascal is amazing. He is the best person at playing a guardian parental type figure.
He is. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Like badass.
So why do you think that one was so good though? There's so many bad. There's a plethora of bad adaptations. Why was that one good?
Oh boy. Where do we start? Good scripting, good pacing, good directing, good acting. It's just a really solid take. I also think that it's one of those where, like, when I compare the good to the bad, with maybe one exception, this was a video game that was kind of made for cinema. Whereas there are some adaptations where, like, for example, Super Mario Bros. From the 90s, which I put somewhere in the bad list, in my opinion.
Oh, come on.
There's not really, like...
There's a lot of people that love that. I mean...
off of something that didn't really have much of a plot. Like it's a plumber who goes and saves a princess from a big lizard man turtle, and like where there isn't a, like so, whoever was like on cocaine when they came up with the pitch for that movie, like clearly was just pulling shit out of their ass and didn't know what they were doing.
I need the pitch guy. I need the pitch guy to do that. If it was, you guys are familiar with the pitch guy.
The pitch meeting guy?
The pitch meeting guy, yeah. Has he done one? He needs to do that movie if he hasn't already, because that would be hilarious.
I don't know.
Nick, are you not familiar with the pitch meeting guy? Jacqueline.
I'm not.
Jacqueline, you need to take care of that.
He's very funny.
He is.
Yeah, it's a comedian that he plays a guy pitching a movie, and it's a back and forth between the executive and him, and the stuff that he says, like
does he do TikToks?
breaks. Yeah, he does TikTok.
Yeah.
YouTube. So he I think he was there before TikTok, but TikTok really I think is where he got him. But anyway, he does hilarious explanations of the movies. So look him up if you haven't seen them.
Yeah,
can't wait. That sounds excellent.
Yeah. So I agree. Mario Brothers would have to fall on the other side. It's to me,
it's rough.
Since you brought up Mario Brothers, yes, it's a bad movie, but I still kind of like it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so bad it kind of comes around. Yeah.
Yes.
John Leguizamo.
So bad
it was
it's good.
So absurd that it was good. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It is one of those. It's not just like because there are some movies that are just so bad that you can't even like laugh at them. There's nothing entertaining. I would watch Super Mario Bros, but it'd be hate watching. I'm not gonna lie.
Or sometimes the best way to watch a bad movie is with a bunch of people, and you MST3K it. You rip tracks it, but with your group. That's the best way to watch one of those.
Or on acid. I mean,
assisted, yes.
Or mushrooms.
Chemically assisted is another way to do it. Here, well, actually, I can't say here at BR because I don't know what your stance is. So you guys can do that disclaimer if you need to.
Yeah,
or not.
You can condone it. Do what you want to do.
See, there you go. I'm sorry. I'm used to throwing out disclaimers on my shows.
Everything in moderation. If you're like, well, okay, not everything in moderation, but like
murder.
There's a difference between overindulging and like destroying your life with a substance and appreciating.
That totally needs to be a title of a movie: Murder in Moderation.
That's a good title. I like that. Yeah.
It's already a thing. So good. Mm-hmm. I feel like it should already be a thing because it's that good.
You're looking at IMDb it, see if it exists.
It is. What is this? It seems to be a track.
Oh, okay.
Like a song.
Yeah, it's a song.
See, you could make a movie out of it then.
Totally. Yeah. Even if it was if it was a band's name, you could make a movie out of it. I mean, it's pretty loosey goosey on that because I know people that use titles for chapter titles in their books.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard about that one.
Yeah.
All right. What's next? What's on our good list?
What you got, Jacqueline? I'm late to the party.
Small good one. So a long time ago. So I really love the Pokemon games. Mm-hmm. So a long time ago, I saw this fan-made short. Do you know what I'm talking about, Nick? This short little video of like the post apocalyptic Pokemon world, I guess, where Ash, what even happened to Ash? Like he was just lost or something. I don't know. He wasn't very fast.
Pokemon
and it just what Nick?
Wasn't it like they did like an adult
Carly, stop.
Pokemon,
like dog's doing naughty.
And like Team Rocket was like an actual crime syndicate and like very like noirish. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow. That's
I vaguely remember this. I need to look it up again. I meant to do that before the stream, and then I didn't because Olivia didn't nap.
But it was good enough that it was good enough to resonate with you. So that's something.
Yeah, I remember wishing that they actually made it into a full-length film, but I think that never happened. Detective Pikachu was okay, but I feel like this other movie would have been better. So
Okay.
I love it when they go a little bit left of center when
they
they're
take
making
a
stuff.
risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially on a world that is so like loved or beloved by millions like that, and they decide, hey, let's turn it on its head and see what happens. And sometimes it works, and a lot of the times it does not.
Yep.
But I see them doing that a lot with just cartoons into movies, not necessarily games, but just regular animated stuff into movies. They're doing that a lot with anime and their adaptations. So, although the
Disney's done it a few times,
recent couple strings of animation or anime coming into live action have been amazing. So there's hope for our future with adaptations in that aspect. But that's another episode.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, and you guys probably have this on your list because who wouldn't have it on their list? But I'm gonna say the first season of The Witcher.
Just the first
season 1.5.
Yeah, I would go with that. I didn't like the last season.
Yeah, it wasn't. That was season 3, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So that it just started to go,
it became more political.
It went south.
To me, it totally shifted the tone of the series, and it became a lot more about like them being at court and all of the political intrigue, almost more like a Game of Thrones style.
Yeah.
But that's not what we like about The Witcher.
Not
the first season is The Witcher.
Perfect.
I wanted that again.
Yeah. Just give me a different story.
Yeah.
Just give me a story about another baddie that was equally as good. The second season was pretty good because they went back to whatever his home is called.
Yeah.
And it was really, really well done. And I liked a lot of the peripheral characters in season 2. But I think even like Jen started being a little bit off to me, starting in season 2. So
I wasn't a big fan of the
my take, but I really did love season 1, and I hold that in high regard. And I think it's really a work of mastery that they were able to capture the essence of The Witcher and put it on live action. That was pretty badass.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they do some not Witcher. Of course, I think they need to put that to bed, but I hope they do some other adaptations that are equally as good as season 1 was.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how Liam Hemsworth isn't Liam isn't he the one?
I think they scrapped it.
Hemsworth?
I thought
really?
I heard they scrapped it.
Oh.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Fact check me, Nick, as you always do.
Because I thought they were planning on 2 more seasons. The one that was supposed to be coming up, and then one more, and that was it. Or maybe I'm thinking something else. In this day and age, you never know. They could have easily scrapped it. A lot of companies are doing that for a write-off.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see.
I just caught wind of it not going forward. So.
Of course, the way news articles are written nowadays, you never know what the title is and what the article is completely different.
Especially with the AI generators out there, you have no idea what you're getting.
Nope.
At all.
Yeah. So I think I know what you're talking about because I had seen like in my feed for some reason there were things popping up saying like, oh, the Netflix decided to cancel The Witcher. Yeah. That's bunk. It's not true. In fact, the most recent verified thing I've seen is from May, and it's like a first look of Liam Hemsworth as Geralt. Yeah, they put like a screenshot out there.
Okay.
And I mean, he looks fine. Much, but
I recently saw him in an army movie, or a military movie where he was like some sort of elite, commando
Extraction
kind of thing. Yeah.
I thought Extraction was pretty good.
That was Chris Hemsworth. I didn't think it was Liam. Yeah.
I can't keep him straight.
But it was that type of movie.
All the Hemsworths look alike.
Right. And there's another one floating around out there now.
Yeah.
So, but it was Extraction-esque in quality, and he was somewhat impressive. And his other brother was in that movie too, and he was less impressive. So I'm like, maybe they got it right, but Rachel for the whole episode was like, he is not Geralt. So, I mean, what she says pretty much is pretty solid most of the time. She's never wrong.
If they
put it that way,
if they come out with a good story, like if they recreate the style of season 1 with Liam Hemsworth, I think it's redeemable. What I'm worried about is you're going to end up with like the tone of season 3 and Liam Hemsworth, and then it's like, no, it's just not going to happen.
If I could get the tone of the animated Witcher that they did, the Bloodline or whatever they called it.
Yeah, that was good. I thought that was good.
It was really Blood Origin, maybe it was called.
Yeah, something like that.
But I thought that was the tone of that was really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're right, though. I think that the replacement, like with Liam Hemsworth, unfortunately, I think because it's the same writing team, and they had, I mean, we've heard a bunch of rumors. It's all conjecture. So allegedly, we don't know for sure, but there was disagreements between Henry Cavill and them about staying true to
the story.
Exactly. And now he's out, and it's those writers and a completely new actor who may or may not know the material.
Right. That was one thing that was endearing to Henry, was that he was a fan. So
yeah.
I mean, that was really cool. So, all right, who's got next? I think it's Sean.
It's back to me.
Back to you.
Yeah.
So this one is not a good. Well, all right. So are we sticking with good ones?
Does anyone check chat? Just out of curiosity.
It's up to you.
I haven't looked at chat. No,
okay, I'm gonna chat. I'm coming.
Sorry, Chad. If we've been ignoring you, haven't been doing it on purpose.
It's my fault for not being here on time.
All right,
so deserves mention, but you got it, Sean.
Arcane.
Oh,
that's not live action.
Not live action, though.
Yeah, it's not live action. Dang it!
But it's so good.
It is so good. And season 2 is coming soon.
I know, right? Okay, sorry, I threw it through curveball there.
It's a worthy mention. I'm telling you,
it's an adaptation, just not live action. Okay. I'm looking for good or decent. Okay, Detective Pikachu was pretty good. I think Jacqueline mentioned it a little bit earlier. It was decent. It was okay. I mean, it wasn't some of the others that I've got on this list.
If you don't mind, because Detective Pikachu, there's one thing I really liked about it, which was just seeing the Pokemon rendered in live action. That was to me like my money's worth, was seeing these monsters that I grew up with as a kid and like watch them exist and look.
Come to life in a different way.
Calvino's in the chat.
Hey, Calvino.
The movie was
and wasn't Ryan Reynolds Pikachu? I mean, because that makes any movie better for me. Almost.
No, 100%.
He can't save every movie. There's a few of them. But yeah.
You know that one.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Okay. How about? Dang it! And that's another one. I had another one in my head, and I was like, no, that's not live action either. But I'm going to throw it out there. Angry Birds. Angry Birds was cute. I thought it was.
Especially coming off a game that was not
has no plot.
Right. Has no.
Angry Birds has less plot than Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that's true.
But they made one, and it was really cute, I thought.
Yeah.
So okay. Back on track. God, I don't have many good ones. Okay, we mentioned this one. Warcraft. How about Warcraft? There we go. I played Warcraft since I started playing Warcraft when I was in college. So that was a few years ago. We're not going to be specific about years. That was a few years ago. And so I was huge into Warcraft for many years. And then I'm not so much anymore. The movie I thought was respectable. I think they played it safe, which is why it wasn't as good as it could have been. But I think what they did was good enough. It was entertaining. I rewatched it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, it's still pretty good. I mean, it's not the best. There are things they could have done better. But the way they brought it to life, I thought was really good. The Fel Gul'dan, I thought was really cool. I loved how they brought the characters to life and they brought the magic to life and told a story. Could have been a better story, yes. Could have been a better plot, yes. But I thought it was respectable.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I put that in my like the ugly category where it wasn't, I wouldn't describe it as a good movie, but it wasn't so bad that like I wanted to pull my hair out of my head. And as a long time
gouge your eyes out.
Exactly. Long time Warcraft fan. Still play World of Warcraft to this day. It got the aesthetics of the universe right. I will say though, I know they wanted to start with like the origins of the human and work conflict, so like because they really wanted to introduce that to a movie-going audience. They should have just jumped to the rise and fall of Arthas Menethil. That would have been a banger of a movie.
If they were going to tell an existing story, there were much better stories to tell.
Yeah.
The telling of the introduction of the races, to me, is just not the right story. I mean, I understand
it's the story since the dawn of man and
it's every
species.
Story.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like the original origin.
To me, the decision to use that to like, to introduce it to people, like nobody cares. The people you're trying to get aren't going to care about that story.
Calvino.
You need to tell us a better story. Tell us a story that hasn't been told yet. There are books. There are World of Warcraft books that don't show up anywhere else, like in the games and stuff, that are really good stories.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna say something that's probably not very popular, but me and Rachel really enjoyed it, and we played it together, and we watched it together. And anytime there is anything that's mediocre and above when it comes to a fantasy movie, is instantly a good movie to us because they're so rare. You get such, a once in, not even maybe a year, maybe like once every 2-3 years, does something pop up on our radar that's good, from that type of a fantasy movie. And we love that genre so much. I mean, I'm that way more, the needle goes way more to fantasy than it goes to sci-fi. Although I enjoy my sci-fi, I just prefer fantasy because that's where I grew up. I grew up with the D&D. I grew up with all that stuff. So I love it when they make movies, even if they're mediocre, watchable again. So
yeah,
not really popular, and it's not really showing, how, picky we are, because we're not picky when it comes
you like
to that.
You like what you like.
Right.
So and we like what we don't like. Like my brother is a terrible critic. He breaks everything. He points out every plot hole, and I'm like, just stop. I know there are plot holes. Just stop. I don't need to know what's wrong with everything. I can enjoy it. I have a huge willing suspension of disbelief. I have a big one. Like mine is, I know there are plot holes. Just let me get through it. If I like it, I like it.
The cool thing about it is you to actually take the effort and time to gloss over those imperfections to make it a mediocre to good movie. And you work hard at least tricking yourself into ignoring those things. And it works sometimes. And to have someone come up there and say those things, you like, I already know that. Just let me do me, please.
Just let me have my moment.
Right.
My appreciation.
Especially if it's something that you are like a super fan of, like Batman movies for me,
All right.
I just wanted to make sure we said hi to Calvino, and I think I heard people at the
Calvino
at my peripheral, but I wanted also to mention he mentioned the Sonic movies.
Yep. I haven't watched them. Yeah.
He said they were they had no reason to be that good. And the first one blew me and Rachel away. I mean, I didn't like the look of Sonic, but the movie itself, the storyline, excellent.
Hey, let's just say his look could have been way worse if you saw that original.
The early renderings.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It didn't come out great in the second iteration, but yeah, I didn't want to go there with that. Ugly, but I'm sorry, I was jumping on Jacqueline's time.
It's actually,
what you got for us, Jacqueline?
I think it's
I just
me.
wanted to say hey to is it you?
It's me. Yeah, I'm number
All right.
2.
Oh, good.
You're number
Okay.
2.
It's fine.
I've got a sleepy / angry baby over here.
Oh, gotcha.
The best.
What? If you
You're
want
the
to go,
best.
then you can.
No, you can go.
All right, fine. I gotta mention Fallout. Fallout was awesome.
Gotta mention.
First season, so good. And it's one of those where like the universe is it's made for some form of film,
100%.
TV,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. There's a lot of world building there that is interesting. But I do like that they decided to take the universe itself and keep that, but then tell a sort of original story within that universe.
Mm-hmm.
That was really smart.
Yes.
I think that really is the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fantastic. And I loved that they focused on like multiple point of view characters. And you would shift into, you saw the various different aspects. And for those of us that have played the games, you know that like there are those factions that exist in universe. And so seeing like characters representing different parts of the universe is just very
Yeah, that was
well.
kind of a little bit, a tiny bit of perfection there, in my opinion, because they took the world and made it aesthetically perfect. I mean, they couldn't have done that better. And then they engaged us in the story by not making it a movie into a series, where they're focusing on one storyline. They made it so that you can come at it from different angles, which definitely sets you up for sequels and season 2 and season 3 and so on and so forth, especially if they come back and revisit something that they just touched on in the first one.
I'm hoping they do. Yeah.
Right.
I really hope they do. The Fallout, fantastic. That was probably to me the pinnacle of the
another chef kiss there. Yeah.
But see, here's what's interesting is they used to do the adaptations were all movies. It was video game to movie.
Yeah.
They've learned, and I've been saying this for years, they finally learned that not everybody wants the movie. People want story. And you can't do a story that well in a movie.
Especially us nerds.
Yeah, especially when there's a lot of lore behind it.
Right.
So can you imagine them doing Fallout as a movie?
No.
Like I think that would have bombed, honestly.
I agree.
I think we needed that telling of that long story, showing us all those pieces, cramming it all together. I think that's where a lot of the movies that have been made from a lot of adaptations, I think that's where they failed, is they tried to just cram it all in or tell this same thing that we've seen a million times, and it just didn't bring anything new, anything fresh to us. Whereas if they'd gone with the series, I think it could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, you think about it too, right? If you play a video game, and most video games take what, like 30, 40 hours to complete. And that's not all cinematics for sure, but you're going through a quest, you're doing some gameplay, and there is a lot of cinematics as you go. You take all of that content and try to condense that down to an hour and a half to 2 hours, and you're going to be missing stuff. It's just going to be like you're trying to steamroll through a plot line. Whereas if you do a series, you can take the time it takes it needs to breathe. And then it feels a little bit more like the game because it's a quest, it's a journey. It happens in moments over time.
Yeah, we want a journey. People now want the journey. They don't want the one shot over and done.
Especially in the world we live in today, which we are relying heavily on streaming services and these streaming companies making these adaptations and making them right. I mean, they're experiencing some success, and I'm gonna have Jacqueline go next, right? Because I have a take, but I want to wait until she says what she wants.
No, we're on this topic, so go on.
I don't want to steal your thunder.
There's not much thunder to steal. Mine's a bit of a topic change, so you go first, and we can.
My point and it kind of piggybacks on what Nick was saying. Like the world of Mortal Kombat, okay, it deserves a series, and it deserves, even though they botched origin stories and they made terrible decisions in the cinematic Mortal Kombat universe, it still deserves a actual series, in my opinion. and I want OG Johnny Cage. You know, I mean,
see, to me,
I want
that's
so
that they could do an MCU to that. They could do movies for individual
100%.
characters and then combine them back together. They could easily do something like that.
And you can say the same thing for G.I. Joe universe or the Transformers universe. All of these things deserve more than the Michael Bay big budget piece of crap things that they throw at the screen.
Maybe they'll get to Mortal Kombat one day.
Maybe.
I hope so, man. I cross my fingers. As long as they keep making them and people keep playing them, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, Jacqueline, all you.
Perfect segue. Speaking of things they might be making, apparently there's a Legend of Zelda action movie. Sorry, our dog's being obnoxious right now. But apparently there's a Legend of Zelda.
I think she say?
I think she did.
Yeah. It's in development apparently.
Wow.
Yep.
That I had not heard of. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Is that a major studio or?
Let's see. Let me see if I can look up. I'm not sure. I think
that info has not come across.
Well, what was it?
That info has not come across this work desk yet.
Ooh,
so Legend of Zelda. Kidding.
Yeah. Wow. So this could be an exclusive right here.
Ooh, yeah.
Exclusively to me. Breaking news to Bronner.
Breaking news. We need a breaking news banner. Mr. Producer, get on that. No, I'm kidding.
But yeah, I think the guy who did the Maze Runner movies is the guy leading it up, if I remember correctly.
I didn't hate those movies.
Yeah,
I didn't either. That would be really cool. Now, I have not been a huge Zelda fan like some people have. I played Zelda and the original, back in the Nintendo days. That was just not something that I gravitated towards. And nothing's wrong with it. It just wasn't one for me. But I would still be excited to see a Zelda movie. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what they're gonna do. Like Link is like perpetually he doesn't have any lines. Like he just makes little noises. I'm really wondering what they're gonna do with that.
Yeah, that's where I'm actually gonna be a little skeptical because Link is kind of a non-character. Like you kind of insert yourself into the role of Link because Link doesn't have speaking lines. Link doesn't really Link is servicing and he's doing things throughout the story, but the story's not really about Link all that much. It's about the kingdom, it's about the princess.
Exactly, and I think it should be told from the princess's point of view, not from Link's point of view. Maybe
that would be cool. Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Yeah, like if it's
it'd be just like a different, take on it, kind of thing, and to actually honor the point you're trying to make, Nick, is that there's nothing really engaging other than his aesthetics. He looks cool, and when they did. So when I've seen some animated artistic renderings of him, I mean, they can make him look super badass. But it only takes a few brushstrokes to make that guy come to life, and I love that. But I don't know.
Yeah, we shall see.
I think it's a cool idea because I loved it when I was showing my kids how to play video games. I mean, that was part of the introduction, and very nostalgic for us.
I'm interested, but I'm gonna say something, and I feel like this is kind of for me was a big point when I was looking through the good versus the bad when it came to adaptations. As much as I'd be interested in seeing, I will see a live action Legend of Zelda. I think it'd be better in animated. And I think a lot of these adaptations would be better in animated. And even looking at the good live action compared to things like Arcane, Castlevania, Cyberpunk, Edge Runners, those are so good and transformative. And a Legend of Zelda in a kind of cool anime style like Castlevania would be really neat.
Yeah.
Okay. See that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just curious to see what they're gonna do with it. So
I think that's
there's that apprehension, that anxiousness, it's exciting that they're gonna do something with it, but you're nervous of what they're gonna do with it and how they're gonna do it. You're like, I'm excited. I wanted to see it, but oh my god, if you ruin it.
Right.
Yeah, like the Star Wars sequels, like it's like please, please.
It's very difficult for a fan, like a true like fanboy, fangirl kind of thing, to be accepting of something if they don't keep true.
Yeah, I mean, I have very strong feelings about like the Harry Potter movies because they're not like the books.
Yeah.
And especially when they cut stuff out and then insert other random crap that didn't happen in the books, that pisses me off. Like I'm a much a purist about my books. So.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. And I've heard that sentiment before about the Harry Potter things. I didn't ever read the books, believe it or not.
Yeah, neither did I.
I have the whole set. My daughter loaned them to me, so I mean,
they're easy reads. You can finish them like a solid day. Just
right now, I have a John Hartnett Quincy book that is like one of the mega volumes that he has. I forget what they call those giant. It's like 3 books in one. But I have one of those to read, and it's like 2,000 pages or more. But that's next on my burner. So, but shout out to John G. Hartnett for that one. I got that at the last Con Carolinas, which was awesome. Signed. Yeah.
It is. I think it's absolutely true that it's easier to enjoy those Harry Potter movies if you have not read the books. Like I saw one before reading the books. Then I started reading the books, saw the 5th movie, and it was garbage in comparison to the 5th book. Just like so much of it was changed and different. Like they burned down the Weasley's house, which didn't happen in the book.
Wasn't that the 6th movie? I don't fucking know, right? Oops, bad word. But because it didn't happen in the books, so we shouldn't have had it in there.
Right. Yeah, I don't like when they take significant liberties like that, especially if it kind of changes the tone of it.
There should be like actual like punishment for doing that, like 10 lashes or something. I don't know. For every inconsistency. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, that's where doing an animated versus live action. So certain things it's really hard to bring to life. I think it's easier now than it used to be. But I still think that does play a part. Is what do you do? It's also, I think, more expensive to do some of that really intense stuff with when you're having to do it all in post versus doing it animated. I think it's cheaper to do it animated. So I feel like you're right that there are many times where it might be better if they just do it animated. And there's a lot of different styles to the animation they could do.
Now, I am a live action over animated person myself. Like I would prefer to watch a live action something rather than watching an anime. But I can see where you're coming from, Nick, because there are some amazing animes out there that capture the essence of the anime or capture the essence of the video game that no other, you couldn't do it any other way. I mean, it would be either astronomical or just something that would look cheesy and unrealistic. I mean, but there's a way to gloss over that when you're using animated cells, because if you ever seen like a fight scene in anime, there's a lot of lines there that you can't. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors there that you cannot see what's going on until the punch actually lands or something. Like the movement is very much like played down, and then like all of a sudden, it hits you in the face. So I love the anime's fighting style a lot. And it would work for a lot of video games. So I think it's an obvious, marriage.
Yeah.
All right. Who's got the next one?
All right. You ready? Let's dive into some bad. Just outright awful.
There's a lot.
Street Fighter.
Yes.
The old Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme style. Just absolutely ridiculous. The story was terrible. It was so beyond cheesy. It was so bad. It didn't even come good again. It just kept going bad. The Raul Julia, I think, was the only decent part of that.
Yes.
As Bison.
As Bison, yeah. Which wasn't a character I would have thought about for Bison, but he was great.
But everything else about it was just ridiculous.
Can you even hate watch it? Or is it just so painful?
I could probably give it a hate watch. I'd probably want to watch it with other people so we can all make fun of it at the same time. That's probably the way I do it. Yeah.
Just watch the Bison cut where you clip out the rest of the movie.
Everything. It's a good idea. Good idea. So what's funny about the Street Fighter movie is it was told like, so you had Jean-Claude Van Damme who played Guile, I think, didn't he? But so much of the Street Fighter world seems to be wrapped up around Ryu. So why did they do the story from Guile? Like
because they were going with the white American. They were making a movie for American audiences.
That's right.
So they focused on the guy from the USA. I know, and it's so stupid.
The white Belgian?
Like he's a side character. He's not. Yeah. He does not have main character energy.
And he's not even
in
American.
The video game. Even in the throughout the video games, and like you watch competitions, you watch people. Hardly anyone plays Guile. Almost everybody plays like Ryu and Ken. So yeah, I thought that was just almost every decision about that movie was horrible.
I agree.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yes. Oh my god.
All right, who's next?
I'm gonna go. All right, so this is probably another one that's controversial. Some will say yes, some will say hell. Where are you coming from, for honor? But I'm gonna go with Tomb Raider.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of the video game, and I think that they have done it justice over the years in all of the iterations. Whether you're talking about the most recent stuff, which visually is appealing, it evolved the way the game evolved. The movies kept up with the evolution of the game pretty much, and even though it kind of went backwards because she was already old in Cradle, and she was already old in the original one. So, was that the original one or the second one? I don't remember. But she was an older Lara Croft.
Yeah,
and they brought it back around and did it from a younger Lara Croft's perspective. And so did the video games, actually. I mean, the last video game I played, I think started off when Laura was just a teenager, or maybe even younger, maybe in middle school or something. Yeah, and she was just kind of going around the mansion learning how to be an archaeologist. And that was part of the testing that you had to level up, is go through these scenarios as a young Lara Croft, sneaking into a room, doing all kinds of weird stuff like that. It was a long time ago, so I don't remember a lot about it, but I loved playing those bad boys, and I love watching them. They're very nostalgic, and they're very well done to me. And they're the kind of movie, the kind of video games that actually lend themselves to live action, because they're a storyline that happens basically in a day kind of thing, or in a week or whatever, or less than that, a few days.
We kind of already do. It's called Indiana Jones. So, I mean, it's not a far cry.
Right.
It's not a far cry to do that.
It's a female Indiana Jones, She's just as much of a badass as Indy is.
Yeah.
And if
absolutely.
not more, I mean, she's trained to do this. She's basically should have been abducted by the League of Assassins and trained.
That would have been funny. That would have been good.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? There's a story arc for you.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, I thought they did well with those. I agree.
Yeah. They just warmed my heart, and that's what's important to me.
Absolutely.
All right. That was a quick, easy one. What do you got, Sean?
I just gave mine.
You just did bad one, right?
All right, I did bad one. So what do you got?
Right. I'm gonna go ahead, and I think we have to talk about an elephant in a room.
Oh God.
Jeez. There's we're talking about live action adaptations, and recently there was a video game adaptation that was put into theaters that bombed so hard.
It's still bombing, I think. Is it still bombing?
It's still bombing. It bombed so hard that they're doing an early online release. And this one is painful because I'm a huge Borderlands fan of the video game, particularly Borderlands 2. Such a good video game. I had so much fun playing it.
Such high hopes for the live action too.
Yes.
Good universe. It wasn't self-serious. It was kind of wacky, but then action-packed, and it had just like a cool like desert wasteland feel.
And isn't Kate Blanchett in the live action?
She is miscast in it as Lilith. That was not. I love Kate Blanchett. Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic actor.
Why? And Jamie Lee Curtis, I love her too, but she was also miscast. And Kevin Hart, I don't know. He's whatever. Take him, leave him.
But Claptrap. Claptrap was Jack Black, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To me, that should be the perfect casting.
Mm-hmm. It would be, but
so.
But what went wrong?
From what I have seen, I have not seen the movie, but let's just say that some clips made it my way, whether they were.
They came across your desk.
And it was through trailers in illegal fashion. And he was so annoying. They made him super annoying. And Claptrap is supposed to be annoying, but in a lovable, fun way.
Right. Yes.
Like you want him to go away, Jar Jar level bad.
Oh God, no. So it's more of it wasn't Jack Black so much as the script, probably.
Yeah.
Oh no, like he's lovably annoying. That's what
I love me some Jack Black, but I mean I think
Claptrap is supposed. Yeah.
Yes, but there's a misunderstanding too with the character. So Claptrap would always do crazy, wacky stuff, but it would oftentimes it unintentionally lead you in the right direction with the adventure. He does not do that. He just does stupid crap, and it never is useful.
Which is just annoying if it's pointless.
Yeah.
Because there was a reward to listening to that crap and in getting somewhere by listening to that crap, and then if it leads nowhere, that could be utterly frustrating for the viewer.
Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah. Oh, that's so disappointing.
It is.
I will definitely.
And I was looking so forward to it.
I'm still gonna watch it when it comes out to stream, but I'm definitely not going to the theaters to see it.
I never actually played Borderlands. I just played the Tiny Tina's Adventures.
Tiny Tina's Adventures. That
excellent.
Game is so
Why would they not do it from that perspective? That's a good perspective.
Yeah, that was. I mean, Bud Stallion. You can't beat Bud Stallion.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have made it as great as Tank Girl was.
I mean, that's saying something. All right.
Too, there was I think Tiny Tina's Adventures is kind of spawned off of this DLC they did where she runs her own Dungeons and Dragons game.
Yeah.
It's like you watch it and it's very funny and it's very silly and it's very goofy, and then it gets to a point where, like, spoiler alert, the game's been out for like over a decade, so if you haven't played it yet, you've been warned. But you get to a point in the story where you realize that she's actually processing her grief over a certain compatriot's death, and it takes a very different turn, and it becomes super heartfelt. It's like one of the most heartfelt things I've ever played in a video game.
Story, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they could have done anything else but what they did.
Yep.
No, it's unfortunate. Yeah. All right. You got something for us, Jacqueline?
We kind of touched on at the beginning. Oh, hey, Olivia. The Super Mario Brothers movie. I just remember watching this a long time ago, and I don't remember anything about the movie other than how terrifying it looked. Just like, didn't they just look awful? Like, if I remember correctly,
it was very
creepy. I had, and it's not even real, but it was horrifying. Like,
I'm gonna have to go watch it again. I seem to remember having a crush on the girl though. This movie came out a long time ago. And it had John Leguizamo in it. I like John Leguizamo. I think he's great. That's about all I remember from it.
Leave him sometimes. Yeah, Bob Hoskins was in it. Yeah.
famous
That
Italian John Leguizamo.
Right, I know.
Isn't he like
I thought that-
Cuban or something?
He's
No, I
definitely
thought he was
He's
Puerto Rican.
Latino in some way. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a Latino in some way.
I thought the newer movie was really cute. The animated one.
The animated
I thought that
one.
was really good.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
how they should have done the first one.
That's really They should not.
kinda-
That should not have been a live action at all.
Says what just reinforces what Nick said. Like
Yeah.
a lot of video games should just be made animated. Especially if
Mhm.
they're and they're all animated based. They're not live action based. Like
Yeah.
little storylines put to them. Or cutaways. Or what are they called? Where they cut away to
Cutscenes. The cutscenes.
Yeah, the cutscenes.
Yeah.
They're not filmed. They're not live action cut. Then there's some video games that did that. I can't remember which ones. Was it like Alone in the Dark or something that did it like right with the cutscenes were actually live action? There was some video game maybe back then, Myst or something.
There's a game. Actually, it's on my list. Called Wing Commander.
Sorry.
And Wing Commander in the last version, the last game they did, they put cutscenes, live action cutscenes in the game. They did. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
The movie was not.
Fun fact: Mark Hamill was in that.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, going back to this thing with animated, I'm thinking about Borderlands as well, and like you playing through the game, it was all done in like a cell shaded style that would have translated very well to an animated series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Call it like Tales from the Borderlands and do like an anthology series. Would have been great.
Oh, that would have been perfect. Just a bunch of short stories.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been. See, Nick, why were you not on the committee to?
We wondered that a lot. Why don't they run this stuff by us?
Absolutely.
Or at least reach out to us so that they can get some creative input in the right direction.
Nah, they got to go to
that.
They got to go to the overpaid executives who slide their notes across the table.
Who's never even played a video game in his life? Maybe he played Pong.
Mm-hmm.
Focus groups. That's what they know. Focus groups. The focus groups told us. No, they didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know who was in your focus group, but it wasn't us.
You should absolutely have a focus group of nerds if you're going to do something nerd-esque.
Right? Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
All
right. I do believe that this show merits a second edition, which would focus on the bad, because there is a lot of comedy that's coming out of the bad.
Yeah.
We'll put another twist on it or something. We'll just put like even animated.
Yeah, let's do that.
Live action, and instead of capping it with video games, and then we'll just do the bad. And then maybe we'll give you a couple good ones at the end so that we leave you with a fresh, beautiful, minty taste in your mouth.
A palate cleanser.
Yeah, we did. We kept this relatively positive for.
Did.
We could have
it started off very, very positive, but there was so much bad that it's like a tidal wave of bad that's going to overwhelm any of the good.
We were sandbagging. We were levying the tidal wave of bad.
Right.
So next time we're going to just let that open up.
Which is interesting with all of the bad and all of the missed opportunities and the bombs out there that these companies continue to put forth live action adaptations, hoping that they're going to get the next Witcher or they're going to get the next, Last of Us. So let's hope that they do. And let's hope that they're going to, this is, I guess, last parting words kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the formula is make it a series, right? Don't make it a movie. Make it a series. Have great screenwriters. Have someone that could actually pull off the main character roles and have the aesthetics look great. And you have a winner.
And have us do the focus group.
Absolutely. There you go. That'll do it.
Open invitation for all these groups. If you want a focus group,
we'll do it right here.
We will do it.
All
right. Any parting words from anybody else?
If we could just do, I know we're a little over time, but
that's okay.
Like 1 or 2 minutes. Let's end with a lightning round. If you could have one adaptation of a video game has not been made yet, what would it be?
A live
Does the
adaptation.
Zelda one count?
Mine
Because
would be impossible. Yeah, that would count.
Yeah, Zelda.
It hasn't been made.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the games that I'm playing and whether they could be adapted. Yeah, you have to come back to me. Let me think for a minute. I might have to bring this one up next time. Trying to think.
Yeah, I'm on the spot though. I'm gonna go with Final Fantasy 14. Specifically.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Specifically
Right?
that one.
I don't know that it's possible with what's going on. I mean, it's more complex world, I think, than like Warcraft even, as far as visually. But yeah, I would love to see that. It was a very, very fun game to play in my day. So in my latter years, even, I mean, it's not even that maybe 5 years ago and on. Yeah, I had the subscription and everything. I think it's 14 I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, it's the MMORPG.
Yeah. So
fantastic game. And as a longtime player of both Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14, I got to say, like, there are so many things that they did with Final Fantasy 14 to sort of perfect the MMO genre that I would love.
I think that absolutely the character building and crafting and all of that stuff was just intensified in 14. So loved it.
All right, I've got mine.
All right.
So, I think they would need. I don't necessarily know if I want to make it live action, but I think the stories that they tell, they have a lot of different really good stories, and that is Sea of Thieves, the game Sea of Thieves. It is such a beautiful game. It's so much fun. It's visually stunning. If they told, and they have some really interesting tall tales and stories, and like I think they could do a great job. Somebody, I mentioned it to somebody, and they were like, "They already did. It's called Pirates of the Caribbean." I'm like, "That's not the same thing. It's not the same thing."
No. It needs to feel more like I don't know, like darker. You know, it has to just have that more of a not so. You know,
Sea of Thieves Sea of Thieves is a blend of whimsical, but it is also darker, and
yeah,
I still think that's something that would make a good show, movie, or something, or
anything
anthology.
Pirate is awesome. It's got my vote really because it's awesome.
Oh yeah.
I thought of another one. If it's okay.
Go for it, Jack. Yeah.
What if they made like it has to have a story and a plot? But if they made it like a Super Smash Brothers one, and you got the backstory of why all these characters are fighting each other. Yeah.
Interesting.
Like,
that would be very, very crazy.
You have to have a good creative team behind it, but I feel like it could be interesting because there's a lot of really beloved characters there. Yeah, it could be a series. And when they do the melee each episode, those characters that die are done and they don't come back.
Ooh, wow.
They don't. Hey, no, in Smash Bros. They don't die. They turn into trophies, and then you can revive them later. There's no.
That's fine. They can get turned into trophies and
sit on someone's shelf because that's better.
Unrevivable trophies.
Yeah.
Done them.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. There would be a lot of great actors knocking on the door for a one and done.
Yeah,
you get 2 scenes and then you're done. Okay, that doesn't even.
Well, you wouldn't get your big names.
Don't kill them. Yeah,
you could do like what the Avengers did. You could do movies for the various different properties, and then unite them,
bring them all together.
Avengers type movie where they all
call them all Smash Brother movies, and then do a Super Smash Brother cinematic release.
There you go.
I love it. It would be definitely as nostalgic as that game is. It would definitely be appealing to my eye.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see.
If done right, it could be really cool. The one I would go with, I think they might actually be trying to do an adaptation of it, but it's kind of been in development for a long time, and so I don't know if it's ever going to happen. But I would love to see a Metal Gear Solid movie. That
never played it.
A what?
So good for it. Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. Yeah, if they adapted the first game or even the second, or start with the first one and move into the second one, that could be really cool. And there's also a lot of themes in it that like were kind of ahead of its time, and like there are people now that are like, it's a joke that people make, which is that Hideo Kojima like looked into the future and saw what our surveillance state would look like, and he predicted the future about a lot of that stuff. I think that would be really cool. And the whole like spy thriller espionage genre hasn't really seen a great release in a while, so maybe they could put a cool, fun, philosophical twist on it.
I guess I'll ask if anyone has, in parting, if anyone has seen like the Twisted Metal live action.
I was just thinking that. Yes, I really liked it.
Really,
I did.
It got a season 2, so
I liked. I like this story they told. I like the different characters that they introduced. I really enjoyed it.
Good. I'll put that on my list then.
Yay. Yeah, you haven't seen it yet?
No.
Runner? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, go watch it. I think you'll like it.
What streaming service is it on?
Is it Netflix?
No, I think it's Hulu.
No, Peacock.
Netflix. Peacock.
I think it's Peacock. Yeah, sorry. The one you don't have. It's always on the one you don't have.
I know, it's just too damn many. Ugh,
there are too many. Yeah.
Sometimes that's how many stupid streaming services there are.
All right. Let's. What do we got on tap for next week, Mr. Nick?
Oh boy, hang on, put me on the spot. Let's see. We definitely have a show, and I promise it's going to be a good show.
Of course.
Calling for time right now. It is going to be amazing, and Nick Otherbrain. It's gonna be movie franchises, and movies that have franchises.
So are these movies about fast food franchises, or are these?
Yeah, just the Burger King movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fall of a dynasty. Or
there you go.
Marvel's right now a little too much.
I guess going into like franchise fatigue and
Fast and Furious.
Right.
We're gonna save that. We're not gonna get into it.
We're not gonna say it, but I could talk about Fast and the Furious for days.
Just prepping the show for next week.
Can I ask, was that a video game initially?
No.
Okay.
No. It was like that was
right.
I remember when the first one came out.
I never knew if it was based on a video game or not.
No.
That would have been interesting if it was, and we just glossed over all of those.
No, we didn't.
All right. Well, with that, we'd like to wish everyone a good night and a happy weekend. And we will see you right back here on the same BAT channel, the BRB network. And that would be on Thursday at 7 p.m. And stay tuned for and check out the AOA shows as they go on. Maybe, Sean, you could speak to the shows that you've got in your repertoire.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm putting the channel Twitch. It's twitch.tv/team_AOA. So the Team AOA is on the Twitch channel. We have some stuff going on this week. So today's Thursday. So Sunday is our Waking Up show. It is with me and Arugs. And we talk religious trauma, regular trauma, and everything in between. It's kind of a we're not therapists, but we just talk about our journey through our trauma and kind of help give people a safe place to talk about their own. And then Tuesday we have Three Bards and a Dragon, which is 4 of us. It is an RPG podcast. We roll a d20 and let it ruin our lives. It is some crazy shenanigans. We have a different theme this past one. Oh God, what do we do? We had a class reunion recently. We have an apocalypse. We've had all kinds of crazy shows that we've done, and they're all based.
Everything is randomized, right?
Yeah, it's all based upon the D20. It's kind of like a little one shot for each episode.
Cool.
Sounds super fun.
So it is. So that's Tuesday. So the Waking Up is Sunday at 1, And then Three Birds and a Dragon is Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern on the channel. And then Wednesday is my Lego build show. Let's Build with Pep. So I build Legos on Wednesdays at 7:30 on my.
I got to remember that. I love that show, man. It's so
that one right, the one right there. That's the D&D. That's the D&D build. I'm halfway done with it.
So. It's awesome. I've seen a couple of episodes, and it's just so pleasing to watch. I don't know what it is about that show that's just so compelling, but it is. Maybe it's you.
It's probably me. Yeah, I hang out and I build Legos and just chat with the community. It's a lot of fun. And it's kind of relaxing too.
Do you follow instructions or do you make up your own ones?
I do. I follow the instructions. I have them displayed on the screen too, so people can see it. What's fun is I'll go scrambling, like, where's this piece? I need to find this piece, and everybody's like, it's right there. It's right there. I'm like, I can't see it. It's right there, because they can see it, because I have a top down view. So yeah, I have a top down view, and then I have a view of me, and so you can watch all that, and then I can blow it up to make it real big, so you guys can, so everyone can see it, and it's cool to see the Lego build come together piece by piece.
That sounds fun, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So tune in on the Twitch AOA's Twitch.
Yeah, I'll get you guys the full list of the channels. So if you guys want to put that into
we can
chat
throw that in the
later.
rotation into the chat.
Yeah, I'll do that,
because we've talked about kind of helping each other out, doing little partnerships here and there.
Yep.
So we're going to be a lot more intertwined with each other's lives and help each other out and grow the small streamer platforms.
Yeah. We promote you guys after every episode.
And I know we're guilty about not being so great at it, but we love you guys.
I've got buttons. I hit buttons, and so it puts all the stuff in the chat. So it's easy for me to just hit a button and go, there's all of our channels. That's all. So I need to get something like that for you guys so you can throw it in there.
I love it. All right. Great. Well, I also like to shout out really quickly to Nick, our producer, does a fantastic job.
Nick.
And
we
love having him, and he's reliable, and he's very, very smart. So we
does a great job.
You. Yeah. Nick. Took on to it like that. Like
he did. Yeah. I heard he had a good teacher.
So. Yeah. Funny. All right. Well, peace, love.
Night, everybody.